1,500 years of samurai tradition produced countless warriors, but only one became a legend whose name still commands awe: Miyamoto Musashi. Undefeated in more than 60 duels, he carved his path not just with the sword, but with the mind. A ronin, an artist, a philosopher. Musashi's true legacy was not in victory, but in mastery of self. Before his death, Musashi wrote down 21 principles he called the Dokkodo, the path of aloneness. These were not rules for battle alone, but for life itself. They are raw, uncompromising truths about discipline, detachment, and the relentless pursuit of focus. In a world drowning in distraction, where we chase pleasures, possessions, and praise, Musashi's words cut through the noise like steel through silk. His principles show us how to rise above regret, jealousy, and desire, and how to sharpen our lives with the same precision he sharpened his blade. This is part 1 of his teachings, the foundation of the warrior's way. 7 timeless lessons that will challenge you, inspire you, and if you embrace them, forever change the way you see the world. Lesson 1. Accept everything just the way it is. Life does not bend to our will. It rises and falls like the tide, bringing triumph one moment and loss the next. Most of us fight against this truth. We cling to comfort, resist change, and curse misfortune when it arrives at our door. But Musashi saw this struggle as wasted energy. His first principle is deceptively simple: accept everything just the way it is. To the untrained mind, this may sound like surrender, but Musashi was no stranger to hardship. He lived through battles, exile, and endless uncertainty. Acceptance for him was not weakness, it was strength. By seeing life as it truly is without denial or complaint, he preserved his clarity. When others panicked, he remained calm. When others despaired, he adjusted his stance and kept moving forward. Imagine a swordsman in combat. The opponent does not fight the way you prefer. The weather does not favor your blade. The ground beneath you is uneven. To resist these realities is to stumble. To accept them fully is to adapt. And in adaptation lies survival. In our lives, the lesson is the same. We waste countless hours wishing things were different, regretting the past, resenting the present, fearing the future. Musashi's wisdom calls us to let go of that struggle. Acceptance is not passive. It is the foundation of focus. It frees the mind from illusion so that every ounce of energy can be directed toward what truly matters. The action in front of us, here and now. Lesson 2. Do not seek pleasure for its own sake. Pleasure is seductive. It whispers to us in the taste of rich food, the comfort of soft beds, the glow of constant entertainment. For most people, this pursuit becomes the axis of life, seeking comfort, avoiding pain, chasing the next fleeting high. But Musashi warns us, you do not seek pleasure for its own sake. Why? Because pleasure is a trap. It dulls the edge of discipline, softens the will, and makes us servants to craving. A warrior cannot be distracted by indulgence. Neither can anyone who seeks mastery in life. For Musashi, every excess, whether in food, wealth, or lust, was another chain pulling the spirit away from focus. He knew what many of us learned too late. Pleasure fades as soon as it's grasped. What once satisfied becomes dull, demanding more, always more. The meal is forgotten, the thrill wears off, the comfort becomes ordinary. And so we chase again, never fulfilled, never free. Instead, Musashi embraced restraint. He sought not comfort but clarity. By refusing to make pleasure his compass, he freed himself from the cycle of craving and disappointment. This did not mean he rejected joy, but that he never allowed joy to rule him. In our own age of endless distraction, where dopamine is a tap on a screen away, Musashi's lesson is radical. Do not let your life be guided by pleasure. Let it be guided by purpose. Seek fulfillment in discipline, in growth, in the pursuit of something higher than comfort. For comfort fades, but mastery endures. Lesson 3. Do not depend on a partial feeling. In the heat of a duel, hesitation is death. A swordsman who strikes without certainty will miss his mark. Musashi understood this deeply, which is why his third principle declares, do not under any circumstances depend on a partial feeling. A partial feeling is an impulse untested by clarity. It is the gut pull of fear, the sway of unchecked desire, the whisper of doubt. Left unexamined, these half-formed instincts can lead to ruin, whether on the battlefield or in daily life. Musashi teaches us that mastery requires total awareness. To act from a place of confusion is to hand your fate to chaos. But to act from a place of full understanding of yourself, your surroundings, your opponent, creates unshakable confidence. The warrior's strike is not wild emotion, it is deliberate precision. Musashi teaches us that mastery requires total awareness. To act from a place of confusion is to hand your fate to chaos. But to act from a place of full understanding of yourself, your surroundings, your opponent, creates unshakable confidence. The warrior's strike is not wild emotion, it is deliberate precision. In our own lives, partial feelings show up as rushed decisions, emotional outbursts, or choices made without thinking through the consequences. We quit too soon, invest without foresight, or burn bridges in anger. Each time we act without clarity, and each time we regret. Musashi's wisdom is this: do not let half-truths guide you. Pause. See things as they are. Gather your mind fully before you act. For only when the heart, the mind, and the body align can focus become unbreakable and the strike unstoppable. Clarity of mind is essential, but clarity alone is not enough. Once we see the world as it truly is, we must also decide how to carry ourselves within it. And this is where Musashi's next teaching strikes with precision. Lesson 4. Think lightly of yourself and deeply of the world. Ego is the heaviest burden a warrior can carry. To think too much of ourselves, to inflate our pride, defend our image, or crave recognition is to blind the mind and slow the hand. Musashi warns us, think lightly of yourself and deeply of the world. This is a call to humility. Musashi did not deny his skill. He was undefeated after all. But he refused to let arrogance define him. His victories were not proof of his greatness, but reminders of how vast the world is and how much more there was to learn. The ego says, I am enough. Wisdom says there is always more to understand. Musashi chose the latter, studying not only the way of the sword, but also art, poetry, calligraphy, and philosophy. In this breadth of study, he found perspective far greater than himself. For us, the lesson is clear. When we cling to ego, we shrink the world to the size of our pride. But when we let go, we expand into the vastness of life, open to new knowledge, new growth, new depth. True strength is not in thinking much of ourselves, but in thinking clearly of the world around us. Humility clears the path, but even the humble heart can still be chained. If ego is one prison, desire is another. Musashi's next teaching cuts directly at this source of bondage. Lesson 5. Be detached from desire your whole life long. Desire is endless. The moment one craving is satisfied, another rises in its place. More wealth, more praise, more comfort, more power. Musashi warns us, be detached from desire your whole life long. For the warrior, desire is dangerous. A man who craves victory at all costs fights recklessly. A man who longs for safety hesitates and dies. Desire clouds judgment, enslaves the will, and makes us dependent on outcomes beyond our control. Musashi's answer was radical detachment. To be free of desire is to be unshakable, whether faced with victory or defeat, gain or loss. It is not cold indifference, but a higher freedom. A state where action is guided by purpose, not craving. In our world, we may not duel with swords, but we battle with temptations every day. Career ambition that blinds us, envy of others' success, cravings for validation. To detach is not to stop wanting altogether, but to stop being ruled by wanting. When desire no longer commands us, focus and peace return. And yet, even when desire is tamed, the mind often drifts backward, toward mistakes, toward choices we wish we could undo. Musashi knew this tendency well, and he offers his next principle as a sword to cut through the weight of the past. Lesson 6. Do not regret what you have done. Regret is a shadow that follows every step, whispering of failures and wrong turns. But Musashi counsels us, do not regret what you have done. This is not permission to act recklessly. It is a call to accept responsibility without chains. Regret anchors us to what cannot be changed. The warrior cannot afford to replay every misstep on the battlefield or in life, because hesitation and guilt invite death. Musashi's wisdom reminds us that mistakes are teachers, not tyrants. To dwell in regret is to be stuck in yesterday's battle while today's enemy advances. The lesson is to extract the learning, release the guilt, and move forward sharper and stronger than before. For us, regret often comes from harsh words, missed chances, or paths not taken. But every regret can be transformed into wisdom if we allow it. Musashi teaches us to walk with scars, not shackles. And finally, Musashi turns his blade toward one of the most poisonous emotions of all. Not desire for pleasure, not regret for the past, but comparison, envy of what belongs to others. Lesson 7. Never be jealous. Musashi warns us never be jealous. For jealousy is a silent thief. It poisons the heart and clouds the mind. It makes us restless, chasing shadows of what belongs to another while neglecting the path that is our own. The jealous man sharpens no blade. He wins no battle. For his energy is spent staring at what he does not possess. Musashi knew that envy is weakness, a crack in the armor of discipline. To envy another is to surrender your strength, to abandon your clarity. Instead, he teaches us to look inward, to master what lies within our grasp, and to carry ourselves with quiet conviction. Jealousy dies when purpose lives. You have now mastered the first gate, but the path does not end here. Journey into the next chapter where lessons 8 through 15 reveal the deeper truths of discipline, precision, and strength. The way of Miyamoto Musashi awaits. Continue through these timeless principles of focus in Chapter 2 and learn how to forge yourself into an unshakable force just as Musashi did.